Dear students, this video is actually explaining the concept of operator overloading in Python, and this is an important concept in CO4. Let me explain the CO4 in detail. As a conclusion, the question number 1 of CO4 is actually discussing the concept of class and object, the simple class, how a class can be created, and how an object is created, and how can you call the class member functions with the help of an object. That's it. And regarding the question number 2, the same concept with one more additional concept called constructor. Actually, every basic Python program we will use a simple constructor at least. So we used init method underscore init method in both the programs, question number 1 and question number 2. And here the question number 3, it is discussing with one important concept called operator overloading, and here the question is to overload the less than operator for comparing two rectangle areas. Moreover, one more concept is discussed in this, that is the private attribute concept. So this question number 3 is mainly depending on the two concepts, private attributes and the overloading of operator less than. And these two concepts are applied upon the rectangle class with attributes length and breadth. That is the first question, and the comparison of the area between the two rectangle objects. So let me explain the private attributes and the operator overloading less than, and exactly. So you might be thinking, what is the difference between this underscore private attribute or a private attribute and a default attribute? Default attribute means if we are not preceding a variable with an underscore, and then it is known as a default attribute. So in the previous questions, we have used default attributes. In Python, we have public attributes, private attributes, default and protected attributes. 4 different types of attributes are there. So we are already now discussed with the private attribute, that is preceded by a underscore symbol followed by the self keyword. That is the main method of creating a private attribute. If nothing is preceded, it is known as the default attributes. So I will discuss in another video what is the difference between the private attribute and the default attributes. Then now let us continue with this overloading concept. And here again we are defining a function or a method called area that will find the area of the rectangle. And here again the concept is same. It is returning the product of the length and width, that is the a result we expected for finding the area. So it is returning, and this is the concept of overloading of operator less than operator, and a special function called underscore lt stands for less than. This lt method underscore preceded and followed by this lt, such a special kind of method. That method is used for overloading the less than operator. So again, inside the less than, the body of the function is returning the area of two different rectangles, that is self dot area and other dot area. So what is the other here is, in this less than operator method, LT method, there is another argument, other argument is there. Other argument and a default self argument. As we know, every def method is compulsory, there must be a self argument as a first argument followed by any number of arguments. Then the second argument other. So when this LT method is invoked, that is what the continuation of the program says. That is, the main program begins from this point onwards, and here the rectangle object is created, rect1. Rect1 is the first rectangle with attributes 5 and 3. So the length and width of the rect1 will be 5 and 3 respectively. And another object is created, rect2, that will take two arguments 4, 4. So the length and width of this second rectangle is 4 and 4 respectively. Then this if followed by rect1 less than rect2. This is what the main crux behind this the overloading method, that is the overloading overloading of operator. This operator less than operator, the body of the less than operator is defined in the underscore lt method, and the invocation of that function happens here in this if followed by rect1 less than rect2. As we know, the operators, we have an operator, we have a lot of operators like a plus, minus, star, slash, modulus, etc. All these are arithmetic operators. Then one operator, specifically this negation operator, that is minus operator. We use this minus operator in two different occasions with two different meanings. Let me explain it clearly. That is, if I use x is equal to y minus z, in that time this negation operator or the minus operator subtract y z from y, and the result is stored into x. In another case, suppose P is equal to minus of Q. In this occasion, the same negation operator we use here, but the role of the operator is to negate the input. That is, whatever value of Q, whether it is positive or negative, that will be altered by using this negation operator, and the result is a unary operator, and this will negate and store its value to the variable P. So the negation operator minus act in different occasion with a different style. So this concept is known as polymorphism. That again I will explain it later. So by default the compiler is defined with the negation operator with the two different meanings. One is for minusing or one is for negating. Similarly, the role of the less than operator, usually we use the operator a less than b like this. So if the value of a is 5 and b is 2, then this will return the value false, because the less than operator compare the numeric values 5 and 2. So the meaning of the negation operator, meaning of the less than operator is just to compare two numeric values. But instead here in our program, the less than operator is comparing the area of rectangle 1 and the area of rectangle 2. That is, the operator is acting between two different objects. So R1 is an object, R2 is another object. So the comparison is happening in between two objects. This is the meaning of the operator overloading. So the result of this comparison, that will return rectangle 1 is smaller than rectangle 2 or rectangle 1 is not smaller than rectangle 2. That will be the output. So what is the role of the other here is, when we compare rect1 less than rect2, when this comparison happens inside the compiler automatically transfer the first variable, that is the left hand side of the variable, to the first argument, that is self, and the right hand side of this less than operator rect2, that will be assigned to other variable. So that is why it is comparing the self area and the other area. So whatever variable you are giving here, this will be the RHS of, this will receive the RHS of the operator invocation, and that with the help of that variable only you can call this area. Okay, that is what the concept of operator overloading, and this will give you the clear answer of the question number 3. And the result is shown here, and this is what the Visual Studio output of this particular code. Thank you.